Slow and steady wins the race. And today's classic tool, a quick test ride. And we are at Hopley House Farm Shop. We haven't been here for a little while. It's pretty cool. Ooh, what's that? A Triumph 2000 saloon? No play for me today. Looks like the youthful assistant is going for a quick passenger ride in the Robin Hood. Ooh, what's this? 100E Prefect. Ooh. And then went driving off around Europe in it shortly afterwards. Brand new car to us on the channel. Good morning, folks. It's another day, and it's a very, very sunny, if slightly chilly day. And this morning's first task is to attend to a couple of little jobs on Harley's latest bicycle acquisition, which you can see here with the rear wheel off. Right, so he bought this, where was it? At the Manchester the Velodrome. Yeah, there was a bike jumble on there recently, which if you've been following his channel, you will know all about. And this is what he came away with, which we think is probably mid-30s, and we think it's an FH Grub, G-R-U-B-B, or Freddy Grub. It's that kind of era. It's got very distinctive lugs on it, which a bit of research seems to suggest that that's what it is. So what we've been doing is, there was a little bit of play in the rear bearings in here, so we've just been tightening up these cones a little bit just to take up the slack, and the next little task is to fit a reflector. I've dug out a selection of old 1940s-ish reflectors. We'll just pick the best one, but before we can do that, it's got these original slightly delicate Bluemel's mudguards on it, and there's a little rivet here from where it has had a reflector at some point, and you do need a reflector. We rigged up one temporarily on the back of the seat, but that's not really a long-term solution, so we're just going to get a little junior hacksaw. One of these two will do the job. Carefully cut off the remains of this rivet. Alright.
So that doesn't disappear.
Oh, in case it falls off, yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're just going to lob off this, and then hopefully we can fit a nice new old stock reflector onto there. So let's get on with that. We'll get there in the end, but slow and steady wins the race. Alright, managed to get that off. Cut the head off with the little saw, and then pulled the rest of the rivet through, so that's good. And I think we're going to go with this one. There's a little aeroplane just over the way doing some aerobatics. But yeah, I think this is probably the oldest looking reflector that we've got here. So all we need to do is peel out the red reflector from the rubber housing and get a tiny little nut and bolt, maybe even cut it down slightly so that there's no risk of fouling the tyre, and then that can go on there, which I think will just look perfect. And today's classic tool is this beautiful wooden handle screwdriver. This is one of Harley's by, now it does say Marples and Son of Sheffield. What a little bobby dazzle that is. Who doesn't love an old tool like that? Right, there you go. We're going to put that on hot so you can finish tightening that up carefully without cracking the plastic. That should do the job. Slight change of plan. The little nut just catches the tyre, and that's without any weight on it, so we'll swap it around and have the screw head, the little dome screw head this side, and the nuts on that side. Good job we checked. This is actually a fraction too long, so we're going to have to chop this down and saw just the end of the thread off. So to do that, we will wind the nut on to the thread past where we're going to cut, so that when you take the nut off, it cleans up where you did the cut on the thread there. So let's go in the garage and do that. Okay, well, that's on now. Just see that in there. Pop the reflector bit back on once we're ready, so we're just going to put the wheel back on, and then we should be good to go. Alright, while he refits the wheel, I'll go and make myself a quick brew just to warm up a little bit. quick test ride. So there we go, little reflector on, all good. Look at that, super old Blue Mel's mudguards. So this is this latest bicycle, and there's some really nice little details in it. We're still not entirely sure what it is. There's a Brooks Champion something saddle on there, the old leather saddle. Harley's just doing a bit on his 1952 CWS. He's bought another saddle to go on it. So that's going to be his project for the morning. But yeah, it's a very nice, very lightweight bicycle, this one. And this patterning round here, which hopefully the camera will pick up, suggests that this, like I said before, is a grub, or an FH grub for Freddie Grubb, who apparently was a famous cyclist back in the day. He set up his bicycle manufacturing company in, I think, 1914.
Or 12.
I think it was 14.
Yeah, he won the Olympics.
Did he? Oh, he won the Olympics, did he? It's got a Chater Lee up there. So it's got a very nice drop set of handlebars, ATACs, quick release brakes, they're GB Coureur, British made, we like a bit of that. And this is the quick release, so you ping up this bit here, this little lever here, that moves the brake blocks out so you can get the wheel off easier. It's got quick release brakes on the front, very nice little hubs as well. So really we're still finding out about this. If you recognise anything on this bicycle, the frame's been repainted, but there's no maker's mark on it, or indeed frame number. I think on some of these, possibly on the other side here, I've seen other Grubb bikes and they've got a number, but I don't think this one does. Let's just move that round. Oops. Let's see if I can get that round into the sun. No, I can't see any number on there or up here. And some of them have numbers on the front here, but there's no sign of anything there either, so we're a little bit in the dark on that one. Talking of being in the dark, I found this little lamp in the garage, which is a Rayovac. So that fits on there just nicely. Yeah, it's a very elegant, lightweight bicycle. So I think he's going to enjoy owning that. And I think it'll be an interesting one to research. We have been going through scans of some old sales literature that we found online. There are some good resources for Grubb bicycles around, and the closest match we can find, we think, is circa 1935-36, the London Streak model. And that seems to be the closest match to this one. But yeah, if you know your old bicycles and can help us identify the bike, or indeed any of the components on it, apparently these are quite nice, these brake assemblies as well. You've got an adjustment up here, so it's just all really nice quality bits that are on it. So yeah, if you can help us identify any of the componentry and indeed the manufacturer of this bicycle, please pop a note in the comments, because it'd be really good to know a bit more about his latest buy. You're winning. Alright. Bit fiddly to get in there, isn't it? So this has got a nice, easily obvious frame number on it, just on there, this CWS from, we think, 1952. Yeah, it's a very handsome bicycle, this one. A CWS Federation. So, alright. Yeah, if you just nip it up, then you can try it for height and everything and just see. So where's the one that you took off? Have you filed that one away? Alright, so this is one. This is the one I had in the garage, but it is getting a little bit delicate. The Wright's featherbed. It is a super comfy frame, saddle, but it is getting a little bit old. I mean, the leatherwork would, I think, sew up again. So this will go back on the spares shelf for the time being, but it's definitely usable. The Wright's featherbed with air foam built-in cushion. And it's certainly a very comfy saddle indeed. Testing the replacement saddle. Does it come for you?
No, to be honest.
Yeah. Needs to angle forward a little bit, I think. So,
Angle back a little bit.
so what make is this? Is it a Brooks? Is it? Right.
£8 well spent.
£8. Yeah. Yeah, certainly smart. I prefer the look of the other one, but this one's in this one's in slightly better condition, I think.
That one's just as nice though.
Yeah.
It is missing the nice Brooks logo on the back, but it was cheap. So.
Yeah. Another fine-looking cycle. So you just need to tilt it forwards a little bit. The badge on the front of the CWS is just lovely. The CWS Cycle Works, Tisley in Birmingham.
I think it would have had paint originally, but it's nice.
Yeah, there's a little bit of red. You can just see a little bit of red paint in there, but it does look. It's just perfect condition, this one, isn't it?
I think 3 odd bikes are probably enough for now. Lunatic. Dad just took the MX5 up the road just to exercise the brakes as they're sticking a little bit. I think it's been sat for a while.
Yeah, this hasn't seen much use at all. Even last year, going to some events, we've been tending to use the Jag a fair bit, so this actually hasn't put much mileage on it at all in the last 12 months or so, and as a result the brakes are a bit prone to going sticky on this. It's always been a bit of a thing with this one. If you leave it parked up for just a month or so, the brakes do start sticking, so I think it is probably due a bit of a caliper overhaul, possibly even caliper replacement, which is not the worst job in the world, but it does take a bit of time, and of course you have to re-bleed the brakes, that kind of thing. But certainly a couple of the wheels were getting quite warm. If you go driving along, you can feel the brakes just grabbing and pulling, and they get quite warm to the touch after just a mile or so down the road, so you know that something is amiss. So that will definitely, I think, be a job for the fairly near future. Otherwise it seemed to be running okay, but yeah, definitely I think most of the wheels are just grabbing just a little bit, which is just another job to do. But yeah, such are the joys of keeping old cars. This one now, what's it, 1995, so it's in its 30th year now, so we think we can probably forgive it a few little foibles now. But just one more thing to add to the to-do list, which never seems to really come down. So anyway, it's a nice day, got the covers off, we double sheet it, that tends to reduce the amount of moisture that actually sits on the car itself, and yeah, it's just a perfect day really. Sun's out, slight breeze, not too cold, so just perfect for a bit of a tinkering day outside. Harley's gone off on his bike, give it a bit of a test ride. I've got a bit of DIY to do back in the house, so I better crack on with that and stop talking here. I was planning on taking that to a breakfast meet tomorrow, but with the sticky brakes I'm not really happy about doing that, so I'll leave the brakes for now. We'll have a look at them because it may be that I can free them off a little bit. Sometimes if you take the calipers off and you just exercise the calipers and the pistons on the brake pedal, or just on and off and just work them manually, sometimes I can clean them up, but it usually means that sooner or later you are faced with doing the calipers. So I think tomorrow anyway, for the purposes of the little meeting, we will take this. The roads are pretty mucky still. They probably will be gritty tonight as well, so I think this one is probably the most suitable choice for tomorrow's little outing. Probably time for a quick sit rep on the Pathfinder project, which Harley is ably managing at the moment. He has been doing a fair bit of stripping down. Here is all the pedal mechanism which has come out, so it's almost getting to the stage where this could actually be sandblasted. Now what I did have to help him with is welding up a couple of superfluous, I think that's the word, superfluous holes just here. Not quite sure what that one and that one did. And there was also a big hole over here as well, so I actually made up a little piece to go in there. I just cut down a little circular piece of metal, filed it down until it just fitted in there nicely, and then I put a magnet on the back and welded that in, so that actually came out quite nice. So that's ready, so it's almost ready to go off, probably for media blasting, fingers crossed. So we'll report back on that once things have progressed a little bit more, and then we can turn our attention to just straightening out the front a little bit. There's a few little, this side's good, there's a few little dings on this side, but yeah, we're getting close to maybe getting it into primer. I also had to weld up the end of the axles where the axles come through here. The kingpin, which is this bit, goes down through and that supports this. But the holes in the end of the axle had worn quite oval due to many, many miles of pedalling. So I ended up making up some little pieces in there, welded them in, ground them back, filed them, ground them, and yeah, these seem to fit much nicer now. There's no play in there. The same for over the other side there, so that was a nice little job to get done. Yeah, that's just one more job to tick off the list. There are a few bits I still need to buy, probably the little exhaust, I know those are being remade. And the only real work on the body that's needed is this little chin panel under here which goes beneath the grille. That is pretty knocked about and rusty. So I think we'll probably have to take that off, cut that off, and then look at welding that. But yeah, it is getting there. My youthful assistant also made a start on dismantling this old comma lorry. The paint was already pretty scratty, so he fancied a little project, so he's made a start on that. As you can see, it's like the series which is often referred to as the QX. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but that's what it's often called. Yeah, quite a neat thing. Not quite sure what make. Is it a dinky or is it corgi? Let's just have a look, because the base plate, it's only a tiny base plate. Yeah, corgi toys, there we are. Comma, what does that say? 5 ton, just about see it possibly there. Comma 5 ton, yes. So we've been exploring different ways, because these are riveted together. So we've been looking and watching some videos on YouTube about how these can be fitted back together. So it's all flatted back, so it's almost ready for like a primer. And then I think he wanted to make it into a bit of a racing car transporter, similar to the old comma that we used to have, in fact. So yeah, that's come up really, really nicely. And I think with a spot of paint on it, that should look a treat. And that'll go back on there, something like that. And yeah, I think that'll be pretty nice. Well, quick sit rep on the MX5. I've had it up and down the road quite a few times today, and the brakes do seem to be easing up a little bit, so maybe we'll be good to go in this tomorrow. So I think I'll give it a quick sprucing up, and then if everything's looking alright tomorrow in the morning, we will take this instead of the Jag, but the Jag is over there as backup just in case. Well, good morning folks, it is the next day and we are at Hopley House Farm Shop. We haven't been here for a little while. There is a gathering this morning. How many cars will turn up? Well, that could be all down to the weather. It's a bit of a chilly one and it promises rain for about lunchtime. But there's already a few hardy souls here already, including this immaculate Peugeot 205 GTI. Guessing a 1.9 with those slightly larger wheels compared to the 1.6s. Let's have a look on the rear corner and just see which one this is badged up as. That's usually the clue. Yep, 1.9 GTI S. I wonder what the story is with that. That's a super clean example, that is. I do like that. It's got the private plate on it. The 205 40th anniversary well, I say last year, it's 2023 now, isn't it? Yeah, super clean car. Old Faithful here, Dad's MGB GT. We have made it over in the MX5 Mark 1. And this is a Robin Hood self-build car. Bit of everything going on here. Apparently got an RS 2000 engine, so I'm sure that bobs along very happily indeed. And let's see what else is up here. I did see one or two other cars. Triumph TR4A and the Vauxhall Victor FB. These are both regulars at many of the meetings we get to, and it's great to see them out on this fairly mucky day, it has to be said. So hats off for bringing out these gems when the weather is less than perfect. And here's this wonderful Victor FB. We followed this part of the way over this morning, and I see an interesting addition on this particular example. As we go around here, what do we see? Car traction and old classic car stickers. Link to the merch elsewhere in the description of this video. But yeah, thanks to Bill for supporting the channel by buying a couple of stickers and whatnot. Not quite sure what this Audi is. And over there is a lovely Sunbeam Alpine. Super duper Sunbeam Alpine with a 1725 4-cylinder Roots engine under the bonnet. This is on an F plate, so what, late 67, early 68. This is one of the later cars. Is it Series 4 or 5 perhaps, with the smaller tail fins compared to the very early Dr. No spec cars. But that, yeah, that is a lovely looking car. Very distinctive Roots group wheels as well. And if we can have a peer in through the window, the window's up, but we can just about see the dash in there. Very, very smart. Roots groups always have really nice interiors, I find. This is a beauty. Soft top in place. Yeah. Again, a real treat to see that one out today on this slightly chilly Sunday morning. What do we have here? A TVR Chimera, blue with matching blue roof. It's pretty cool. One of the last Rover 75s. Yeah, this is probably the first time in, well, several months that the MX5 has actually been out and about, and it's one of those cars that doesn't actually like sitting around a great deal. For whatever reason, the brakes do start to stick a little bit after just a few weeks of the car being parked up, whether it's in the garage or whether it's outside, multi-covered up outside. So yeah, it doesn't really like sitting around. I have had a few earthing problems with it with the lights before now, and coming over, the wipers started to become a little bit erratic as well. Now there is a common earthing point just on the bulkhead round about here, if I remember correctly, under the bonnet, and that can corrode a little bit, and especially if the car sits for a bit, gets a bit damp under the bonnet and doesn't move for a while, that can cause one or two little gremlins to materialise, especially when it comes to the wiring on this particular car. So most of the time it's fine, but you do get the odd gremlin once you wake it up after a few months of being dormant. So I will check it over a little bit and just attend to a few little jobs here and there. But basically it seems to be working okay. It's nice to have it out and about. It's a bit of a chilly day. I should have the roof down really. We're getting a bit soft in my old age. We're probably going to leave it up today. Unlike the hardy owner of the Robin Hood alongside us, which permanently has its roof down, I think. And of course Dad has a fixed roof on his MGB GT. It's great to see this one out here again today. It's great to see it being used, all weathers, and that's good to see. Bit of OCC and car traction merch in the back window as well, so we approve of that. Thanks to Dad for that. But yeah, will any other cars turn up? Who knows? Certainly a few hardy souls out today, but I think the chilly temperature may have put off a few people from getting out from under their duvets this morning. Regulars on the channel will know I do have a bit of a liking for old trailers, and this old horse trailer looks like it's been repurposed into a bit of a foodie van, or ice creams and milkshakes to be precise. Ooh, what's that? A Triumph 2000 saloon? Maybe it's going to turn around over there, or is it parking up round there? I'm not quite sure. Here's that great Triumph 2000 Mark II. So what year is this? 71?
72.
On a K, isn't it? So 71 or 2?
Late 71.
Late 71, yeah. What a fantastic car. Alloy wheels, different colour roof as well. This one gets around quite a lot, and it's always really nice to see these regular user classic cars out and about. Yeah, tow bar on this one. Yeah, what a handsome looking car. So this was an evolution of the original Mark 1, which came out in the 1960s, the 2 litre straight 6 in this. Very similar engine to that in the Vitesse and the GT6, I guess. Slightly different state of tune, I imagine, but basically the same engine, just under 2 litre in capacity, I believe. Yeah, pretty cool. Manual with overdrive. So yeah, what a handsome looking motor car. No play for me today. Here is that TVR Chimera, one of the later cars with the enclosed headlights. And what makes this one different? It has the V8 engine, of course, but this one, which apparently is for sale, is also turbocharged, and that may explain these louvers in the side of the front wings, which I'm not sure if they all had that. There's the door release button there, not actually on the door itself. Quite a wild car, fiberglass bodied of course, like all TVRs. TVR registration on it as well, got a Rover V8 badge on the rear panel there. Yeah, quite an eye-catching car, that one. Looks like the youthful assistant is going for a quick passenger ride in the Robin Hood. So yeah, a nice breezy chilly day for that. Off goes the FB, purring away. Ooh, what's this? 100E Prefect. Oh, great to see this one here today. The distinctive burble of the little 1172 side valve. Old school Celica down there, just gone past.
The Australian guy wrote. I mean,
and here we have the little Ford 100E Prefect. 1956 is the date of this beauty. Still got its original registration number on it as well, which is good to see. All the right period bits and bobs as well. Got a tax disc in the window there. Nice detail. But yeah, what a bobby dazzler. We have seen this one before, and it has featured occasionally on the channel, but probably not in great depth. So let's have a bit of a closer look around. Got a lovely Sternal antifreeze label just in the windscreen there. Yes, what a bonny little car. This one arrived about a minute after the FB Victor disappeared. It was actually parked in the same spot. Yeah, great to see this. You don't see too many good ones of these. So this has got the little 100E, the side valve engine, 1172cc. Same size engine as the Sit Up and Beg Ford Pop 103E and the Sit Up and Beg Prefect as well. Both 1172cc, but the engine in the 100Es and the contemporary 300E van, etc., is slightly different compared to the engines in the upright cars. For example, these have adjustable tappets in them and also a built-in water pump, whereas a water pump on the upright engine wasn't a standard feature. I think some of the export cars had them, but it was an option here in the UK. But yeah, great to see this beauty out here today, parked alongside the immaculate TR4A. Yeah, what a great pair of British classics there. TVR returns. And what's this mighty vehicle over here? I thought we were finished for old cars turning up. It's going to find it pretty tight getting through the narrow gateway. I'm still not entirely sure why there is even a fence in the middle there, but not to worry. So that's a pretty cool looking thing, about 1970. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but yeah, what a treat to see that here today. Fantastic. Let's get it out of the way. A Chrysler Newport Custom. Wow. That's going to take some birthing. I've never seen that anywhere before. Huge V8 by the sound of it. Towering over a little sunbeam alongside it. Wow, what a difference. That's what makes the old car world so interesting. There's so many different cars fall into the old car, the classic car world. Here's that super Series 2 cheese grater grill Morris Minor 2-door. This is a very well travelled car. I remember speaking to the owner of this one. He put a Recon engine in it and then went driving off around Europe in it shortly afterwards. So that is a beautiful oily ragger. I really like that one. That is, well, yeah. Let's have a closer look at this mighty Chrysler Newport. What a beast. The Newport, there's a dog. A Newport Custom. And some pretty hefty wheels on there. It's vast inside, can't really see, but yeah, green paintwork, green, heavily green tinted glass. What you're saying? Brake drums. Are they?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, finned brake drums on it, yeah.
Oh, awesome. They fit so nice with the wheel, don't they?
Yeah, it does
So
look,
cool.
does look the part, doesn't it? Oh, what an incredible looking car that is. Like I say, I've not seen this anywhere before. Left hand drive. I have to stand quite a long way back just to get it all in. Oh, what a treat to see that. Brand new car to us on the channel. Harley's talking Morris Minors with the owner of that super patinated 2-door Series 2. And the bonnet is up on this lovely early Series 2 Morris Minor. So the Series 2 saw the launch of the A Series being fitted as standard into the Morris Minor. These early Series 2s still have the cheese grater grille of the late highlight Morris Minor MM. The MM had the side valve engine. When the Series 2 came along, it was fitted originally with the 803 A Series engine, but I think this is a 1098. I think this one's been upgraded before it did its pan-European road trip a year or two back. Yeah, well, fantastic oily ragger. The rumour is that the steel is better on the early Moggies compared to your Morris Minors, say, of the late 60s. This is a long body moulding version. I've mentioned this before, but some Moggies, the gutter comes down here and this moulding under the back end of the roof stops there, but for some reason, some of them, the moulding carried on to there. Why that was, I'm not quite sure. But not every Morris Minor that you look at has this extra bit here. And of course the very early Morris Minors, the MMs, which came out in 1948, they didn't have a moulding around here at all. The roof just came straight down and joined the back panel there. So lots and lots of detail differences over the years. Super original. I know the owners had this one a long time, but only put it back on the road 2 or 3 years ago, I suppose now. Yeah, fantastic.
3 layers up there. What?
You and Ali can and take him for a run.
No, doesn't it?
It's
Loggers have always got this purr on them, haven't they? They've always got this little...
get all them like over there. You get all these.
Looks like Dad's off in the MGB, so I think we'll probably start wrapping things up fairly soon too. It's getting late in the morning now, and yeah, time to go back home and thaw out, I think. Lights ablaze on the bee. The off, are you?
I'm off.
Oh, right.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Jolly good. Alright, very nice too. Right, okay, well I'll see you on. Right, cheers Pop. I think we'll head off now too. There we go, safely back home once again. Now we will give it a bit of a wash because the roads were particularly filthy, and if nothing else I want to make sure I rinse out all the wheel arches and all that kind of thing, because you don't want any build-ups of mud. There may be a bit of salt on the road still as well, so we certainly don't want that taking up residence underneath the car. Yeah, you're bound to get some under there, but there's always a fine balancing act between not taking the car out in bad weather and also keeping everything running. And I think we've probably got the balance a little bit wrong lately, because there's a couple of little things that need attending to, which are probably just because it's been sat around not being used much the last few months. So yeah, especially like I said, with the Jaguar being on the key now pretty much, this has actually seen very, very little use in recent times. So let's go and get the hose out, let's go and get a bucket of water and go and give it a bit of a sprucing up. We're set for some stormy weather apparently this afternoon, so I want to get a wriggle on with this while it's still not too bad out here. Well, there we go, all nice and clean and ready to hopefully dry out one day. I'll have to let it dry off before I even think about putting the covers back on, but that won't be a problem just for a day or two. So thank you so much for watching this particular video. Please check out the rest of the channel and keep an eye out for future uploads, because there are loads more planned. So bye for now.